So what if I told you in Grow Garden, there's a way you can refund eggs, including Zen eggs, and most people don't even know about it. So in today, we're going to be talking about the koi pet, or koi, however you say it. It's probably a koi because it's a fish. And the reason why we're going to be doing this is this little guy over here, if I can find him, is going to be literally the only pet that can do this, but it's going to give you a % chance to whenever you hatch that you can literally recover the egg. Like you'll go back into your inventory and you get the pet from the egg. And then additionally, on top of this, you can stack them, level them up, and use advantage of all this other stuff I'll show you in the video to make this even more OP. So let me break it down for you. So on how this pet works, how to make it better, and how you can pretty much infinitely loop hatch pets. So starting off with the koi, I'm just probably going to call it koi. So this is going to be a mythic rarity, and this is going to be really good. So this one is not going to be, like one that digs up seeds or, the other useless ones you commonly get. Pretty much what this does is when hatching eggs, there is a pretty good chance, as you see, when hatching, it's not pretty good, but it's pretty low, to get the egg back. So it cannot obviously recover premium or exotic ones like the ones you buy from the shop that, if you've ever used one of these, you put them down and they take 30 seconds to hatch. It's not going to be like those ones, but it can do it to literally anything else. So this means event ones, past events, nowadays like the Zen egg, and then other super rare ones like the Paradise or Bug egg. So obviously, right now, like 0.6% doesn't sound like much, right? But that's like at a level 1. So that means if you were to hatch around 164 eggs, you could get one of them back. But that's just with a level 1 koi and only using one of them. So once you start stacking them, leveling them up, using more stuff that I'll show you later, right? The refunds stats will just start getting better and better. And I'll show you that later in the video and all the math breakdown. So starting off, why this actually sounds better than it looks. So obviously most people might overlook this because 0.6 doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but this is what a lot of people are probably missing when it comes to it. So firstly, the koi is a mythical. That means it scales a lot better on its passive ability than other pets. And then secondly, the egg refund triggers every single time you hatch a pet. So if you're doing a bunch of bulk eggs, like, farming the Zen egg or farming other stuff, like trying to get a specific pet, you might as well have this equipped, and then other stuff like that. And it can start stacking the more you have. And then once again, the scaling on the quantity of them. So one isn't, too great, but the more the merrier, the more you get, the better it gets. So if you had a full team of them, you could have nearly a 5% just right off the bat of a bunch of level 1s. But this is just only the beginning. So just like any other pet, right, the koi will level up and its passive ability will get progressively better, which obviously, if you have a full team of 8, the potential of refunding an egg starts to get a lot higher, like a lot higher. It becomes way higher. In fact, I believe the math turns out to be more around a 1 in every 10 eggs will be refundable. And alongside this is going to be way better than something like the Shiba pet that a lot of people are overhyping. But once again, this will not work on, premium eggs because of their whole paid, design. So with the upgrades, right, there's pet gear. So pet gear will allow you to both increase its passive and XP, meaning you can get it to a better scale and level, but you can also get an even better and further rate. So obviously with the cooldown reduction and all these things from, say, queen bees, I'll show you how you can stack those in other pets. But for example, the medium toy gives your pet a medium boost to their passive ability. This works in about a point, I think it's like a 1.5x increase. It's way better than the one you can craft. For some reason, it's way better, which doesn't make sense, but then I guess it does if you can farm those ones rather than these. But what it means is you can get a 1.5x increase. So if it's 0.6, right, it'll get a bit over 1%. You have a full team of 8, that's an 8%. And then you level them up to where they're already like a 1%, you can see well beyond a 10% chance to recover hatched pets. And that is genuinely overpowered, because then you literally, if you hatch 10 pets right off the bat with this simple strat, you hatch 10 pets or 10 eggs, you're going to get, hypothetically, you should get at least 1 egg back. Now, why this is valuable, though, is for, say, example, the Zen egg. This is kind of uncommon in the shop, and unless you're spam buying the recycle, since the price doubles progressively, it gets very expensive very fast. Like as you see right now, mine's 16 billion. Pay to restock it. We still didn't get an egg or anything else. Now it's 65 billion, 1 egg, right? And now it's 131 billion. And I'm assuming a lot of people, can't drop that. Now it's 262 billion. And obviously, once it gets into the hundreds of billions, you kind of need to stop. But since I'm built different, I can keep going. But once again, that's probably when I should stop because I don't want to be spending trillions on it. But now the next thing to note is obviously you can also get pet mutations themselves. So say for the gold mutation, this will increase the pet ability by around 10%, I believe. Then you can get it progressively higher. And then the rainbow mutation. So this will boost most of your pets by around a 20%. And then obviously I think at max level, you can get almost a 30% boost on your pet mutation or your pet ability. So this with obviously the rainbow and the gear, you can get nearly a 1.8x increase on your pet's passive, which nearly 2% or doubling your pet's ability. And so if you were to level it up, now you're looking at an even higher increase on the pet ability, especially if you have a full team of them. Now, though, this means, once again, the more eggs you hatch, the more likely it is to recover the egg and, rinse and repeat the eggs you're hatching. And then in the meantime, while you wait for the pets to actually hatch, you can then cycle back over to other things and start working on hatching more and grinding more of these kois and mutations and all that. But here's obviously how you can use the pet efficiently. So this is going to be the best grinding strat for it. So starting off, obviously, you want to expect results out of this. So the best setup would be, a full team of 8. So obviously, I only have 1 right now because, once again, they don't stock frequently since they are a mythic rarity. So if you can get a full team of them, you're probably going to be set with that. So get at least, ideally would be 6. Most, you could get at least 6, but ideally you'd want to get 6, maybe 8, 6, maybe 7. I'm joking. But then you want to level them up because, once again, the higher the level, the higher the ability will progressively get. And then alongside that, focus on normal event. Like right now, obviously, the Zen egg is probably going to be more naturally obtainable because if you're grinding to get like the Kitsune, that one's, broken because of its ability. So you want to try to potentially get that one. So there's Koi, I keep calling it Koi. I'm pretty sure that means something else. But you want to try to get as many Kois as you can. And obviously, the more the merrier, the higher the level, the better. And then if you can mutate them as well, it'll be even further better. And then obviously, if you do mutate them, you want to try to get at least golden, and if you can, rainbow, because once again, any other mutation doesn't really directly help it. Maybe shiny does, but once again, it's like if it does. But then I've also seen some people that actually grind with this, and one kid was able to get a Kitsune because he was cycling. They're literally like almost all near max level because he was using a glitch, and it was patched within a few hours, but he was grinding levels, and he was able to get a Kitsune because he was just cycling eggs so fast. And obviously, that's the one case scenario, but it does work. So obviously, to be real though, there aren't any other pets in the game that have this ability. So like obviously dogs, like the Golden Lab and the Shiba do the same thing. The T-Rex, right, is good for spreading mutations, right? The raccoon and the Kitsune steal plants, but this is the only one by itself that does this one specific type of thing. So obviously, if you're sleeping on the Koi and not trying to integrate it into any form of strat, you're kind of missing out. And then furthermore, you want to probably start building an army in some way because this is actually such a really good pet. So obviously, you want to level them up as high as you can alongside getting maybe the gold mutation. And then if you can, as you see the Queen Bee abilities, you can use this on some XP based pets to, further progress them even faster. But obviously get as much gear as you can because once again, the best gear you could optimally use would be the pet toy to increase their passive by the 1.5x, and then this one to make them level up faster. And then once again, trust me, this is actually a really good pet. And then anyways, though, that's probably going to be it for this. If you have any comments or anything, how's it going? Have you been using the Koi, or if not, make sure you do comment that down below. Or if you've actually used it and refunded a pretty good pet. But anyways, I'm about to start grinding it for myself, but that's pretty much it. So make sure you start grinding this, and I will see you on the next one.